What's going on, Babylonians? It's me, Songs of Rays, and I'm back today to bring to you another Atomic Heart video, and this time it's going to be a guide covering the strongest energy weapon that does exist in the game, and that's going to be the Railgun. In this video I'm going to explain to you how I managed to find the blueprint, how you're able to craft it, and then basically all the main quirks and selling points when it comes to using this weapon in your arsenal. Now before I go any further, if you did find this guide useful, please feel free to be able to drop a like and a subscribe. It really does help the channel out, and there will be plenty more Atomic Heart videos to be able to come your way. Definitely going to be covering those testing ground videos and to be able to explain how to be able to get those done nice and easy so you have all those weapon upgrades available to you. But with all that out of the way, let's get right into it. Alright, so first and foremost, we need to be able to discuss whereabouts you can grab the blueprint, or where you can find it the exact same way that I did when it comes to this game. Now, what you need to be able to do is progress a little bit forward into the story. You need to be able to get to the main open world section. Now, that does mean that you need to be able to cover all of the corridor section or the underground section that you do get dropped into after you meet up with Granny Xena, and you also do need to be able to complete the little bit that's above ground to be able to get yourself to the monorail station to be able to then get to the main part of 3826. Now once you do come off of that monorail station, you will have access to the elevator and to the stairs, and all you need to be able to do is head yourself down there. Once you find that, you'll find the main track which is right in front of you, or the main road, and what you need to do is head left. Follow this road all the way down, and as you can see on this map right here, basically I am stood pretty much whereabouts it is, and that is right just to the right of the testing ground 6, and you'll also see these two cameras that are pretty much there, and the point is pretty much directly in between those two cameras. Now what you're looking out for is an overturned yellow container. Now this has got some polymer in it, and that allows you to be able to follow the polymer all the way around. What you need to be able to do is hop yourself into that polymer, follow this, make a nice little bit of a swim, follow the track all the way to the end, and then once you get to the end you'll see this open box. Now normally this box is what drops off some of the security droids, but this one doesn't have anything like that. You don't need to worry about any kind of fight for this. To be able to get out of this, what you need to be able to do is do a dash to be able to emerge from the polymer. I highly recommend that you push yourself as far as you can to the walls of the polymer, aim for the red roofed building, and then use your dash, and that gives you the best chance to be able to land inside this box. Once you're in this box though, you will find two crates which you can grab for additional resources, and you do have the main chest. Now the main chest is what gave me the blueprint for the Railgun, and all you need to be able to do is just take that blueprint over to the Nora station, and then you'll be able to see what is needed to be able to craft the Railgun. Now fortunately, because we have that red roof building, we are able just to pop in there and just be able to have a look at Nora, and then from there you can just make it quite quickly. Now while you can grab this blueprint pretty much at any point as soon as you come off of that monorail station, you may find that you don't have enough components to be able to craft it there and then, and the reason for that is because you do need to be able to get a very rare component which usually only drops from the bosses. Now if you haven't completed the first boss, then you possibly won't be able to get access to this, so I would progress a little bit further into the story to be able to get access to it from there. Now if we're looking at the main quirks as to what makes the Railgun so strong though, is the fact that it already has a maxed out damage bar from being able to do charged damage. Now this one only has the one fire rate, unlike some of the other energy weapons, because it will allow you to be able to aim down sight if you do use your right click or your alternate fire. Once you press that fire button, it will start instantly charging up the attack to be able to fire that projectile out of the gun. Now one thing to note of this is it does have a little bit of a travel time. It's not like it's like too slow or anything like that. It's not like you need to lead your shots too much. It is pretty much fairly, but it's not like it's instantaneous considering like the bullets or anything like that. Now obviously that shot delay can affect being able to land that shot on that target, so definitely keep that in mind, but you will eventually get used to it when you start using the Railgun more and more, and the fact that you don't need to be able to buy or craft any more ammo, it's just purely based on energy, definitely helps out in that kind of respect from getting used to it. Another main quirk that comes to the Railgun is the fact that while you are able to aim down sights with this, and usually with other kind of weapons it is recommended that you aim down sight because the gun can start to get a little bit out of control, the Railgun is not the same, and it is able to be fairly accurate when it comes to hip fire. Now obviously if you are trying to take on similar to like sniper shots or anything like that, then yes, it's probably worthwhile being able to aim down sight just to be able to get rid of that randomness, but in terms of like the actual hip fire, it is very accurate to the point of like short to medium distances you won't really have any kind of issues trying to land any of those shots. Now the other main quirk I want to talk about when it comes to the Railgun is the fact of the sheer size of the projectile that it does fire. This means that you are able to hit targets outside of your aiming window, and by that I mean the hip fire box, and you can clearly see in a couple of these clips that I am clearly not aiming on target and I'm still able to destroy the targets. Now this does help really nicely because we do have an achievement in this game of killing 3 enemies with one single shot, and that sheer size of the projectile means that we don't have to be pinpoint accurate when it comes to lining up enemies. We are able to just pierce through a bunch of them that way. Speaking of piercing, yes, this gun does have piercing projectiles, and that means that we are able to, if we do like farm up a bunch of enemies and we are able to get them into like a straight line, we are able to hit every single one of those with the exact same amount of damage, and that allows us to be able to start whittling hordes of enemies down. This is really nice, and while this is kind of like a boss damage dealer, it is also a great way to be able to deal with mob enemies, and I highly recommend using it for both purposes. Now, one thing to really note about this gun is the fact that it is an energy weapon. That does mean that you are going to be going through your energy bars in the bottom right, and to be able to use that as ammunition for this gun. Now, each shot will take a bar of your energy, which means it's going to be very energy hungry, and that means that you will be very limited until you start upgrading yourself. That's standard. That means you're only going to get the 3 shots until you start recharging yourself through the use of like melee weapons or through using things like dynamos, and to be able to start getting your energy regen back up. If you are trying to maximize the use of the railgun as your as a main damage dealer or as your main range weapon, then the best thing to be able to do is grab yourself a nice melee weapon. I would highly recommend that you grab yourself a one-handed weapon though to be able to use this to the fullest of its extent, because every single hit of a melee weapon will start giving yourself additional energy, and with one-handed weapons you are able to hit faster than you are with two-handed weapons. Now that being said, that does come at the cost of damage, so it's up to you to be able to balance on that, but you can get away with two-handed. It's not like it's a completely unviable tactic or anything like that, but feel free to be able to mess about and find out what works for you. The other thing that you can do is stock yourself up on things like dynamos and the energy recharges, and that allows you to be able to go get yourself some nice energy regen, to be able to get yourself more shots that way, or you can have yourself as like just an instant refill of like 3 shots and then use your railgun that way. In terms of like playstyle, that is completely up to you. Feel free to be able to mess about either way, but I tend to go towards like the energy and the dynamos tactic, but feel free to be able to mess about with how you like it. Now there is one main drawback to the railgun, and that is the fact that when the shots do connect and they do kill enemies, they have a very high chance of being able to disintegrate the targets. Now, while on paper this does look really fancy and it's a sight to behold, it does then pose a problem because you won't be getting any resources from those enemies that you've now disintegrated. So if you are trying to farm out some enemies to be able to get yourself some extra metal parts to be able to start upgrading your weapons, then this is definitely not going to be the weapon for you, and you're probably better off using pretty much anything else. But if we do take that into consideration, if you have got everything that you want to be able to use in your arsenal already upgraded, then you don't need to worry about metal parts, for example, then feel free to use the railgun as much as possible. And there you go, that pretty much wraps up the video. That tells you how to be able to find the railgun blueprints, that tells you how you're able to craft it, and it also tells you how you're able, like the main positives and the main drawbacks when it comes to using this weapon. Let me know in the comment section down below, have you used the railgun and what your thoughts are currently on this gun. Personally, I absolutely love it. I always keep it in my inventory as much as possible because I do like to be able to swap back and forth onto this. Massive thank you for making your way to the end of this video. Massive thank you to the Babylonian family as always for their continued support. It really does help the channel out. And that just leaves me to say, keep yourself safe, keep yourselves well, and I'll see you all on the next video.